Hello, Telvani here, and today I wanted to share with you the results of a 20 map test running Harbinger on Jungle Valley in Path of Exile 3.25 Settlers of Kalguur. I had been trying out this strategy for a few days, and the results had felt pretty good. However, I wanted some more definitive numbers on what kind of profits I could expect while running these maps, so I sat down, tallied up my expenditures, and made a dump tab to track all of the loot I received. One of the big changes to Harbinger this league is that we no longer have the scarab that caused Harbingers to drop all shards as a single type. So while this means you're not going to be pulling a full mirror or a full fracturing orb off of a Harbinger pack this league, I still think this change is overall better, as it makes your loot from Harbinger maps feel a lot more consistent and less spiky in terms of profit. That being said, something like fracturing shards or mirror shards are still going to give you a big bump in profit when they do drop. Having run this strategy for a few days now, I was expecting 10 to 15 fracturing shards during this 20 map test, but we'll take a look at the loot here in a little bit. Starting off, let's take a look at our expenses. We bought 20 Harbinger Scarabs of the Warhordes for around 12.5 chaos each, for a total of 250 chaos. These are going to make it so that all of the shards we drop are duplicated. Next, we purchased 20 Harbinger Scarabs of Regency for around 15 chaos each, or a total of 300 chaos. These are going to make it so that we see a lot more Harbinger bosses, which spit out more monsters and more loot than regular Harbingers. We also bought 60 Harbinger Scarabs for a little over 4.5 chaos each, for a total of 282 chaos. We're going to be running 3 of these on every map to give us an additional 9 Harbingers per map. We also ended up spending 80 chaos on the map device for the Kirak Harbinger crafts, and about another 100 chaos orbs worth of chisels, elks, scours, and vol orbs to roll the maps. So all in all, we spent 1,016 chaos on supplies to run these maps, or just shy of 7 divines. And I should note that we bought all of these supplies for this test on the in-game currency exchange for either chaos or divine orbs. So you could potentially run this strategy a little bit cheaper if you wanted to run the gauntlet of messaging people for scarabs off the website, or maybe lowballing your offers on the currency exchange rather than just paying the insta-buy price. Next, let's take a look at our Atlas passive tree. We're taking all of the Harbinger nodes, obviously, as that is the bulk of this strategy. We were also grabbing all of these Eater of World nodes as we were running altars as well. And we also grabbed some Delirium nodes for the loot multiplier. Since we're running Delirium and altars, we've grabbed a fair amount of increased effect of explicit modifiers along the top of the tree and this wheel down here. This will help us boost our gains from running those mechanics even further. We also took some Scarab nodes. Scarab drops don't feel as strong this league as they did last league, but I figured, hey, we might as well take these. And honestly, this Remarkable Relics node feels like it's kind of mandatory on all Atlas strategies, just so that when Scarabs do drop, you'll maybe get something useful. Finally, we're also grabbing all of the map sustain nodes so that we don't need to worry about buying any maps, and we're also blocking most league mechanics, since we don't want to be getting bad Scarabs, and honestly, I don't want to be getting vanilla, unbuffed league mechanics, as those feel very bad as well. Alright, so with all of that out of the way, let's take a look at what you're really here for, the loot. During this test, we pulled 3 Raw Divine Orbs, 44 Ancient Orbs, 53 Annulment Orbs, 6 Exalted Orbs, and 363 Chaos Orbs. We also saw 4 Fracturing Shards, and honestly I felt like we got fairly unlucky with Fracturing Shards during this test. However, I think we got pretty lucky in terms of Raw Divines that dropped, so it probably all evened out in the end. We also pulled about 3.5 Divines worth of Scarabs, and a handful of Divines in random bubblegum currency. We had 40 Jungle Valley maps drop, so we oversustained our maps by 100%. Right now, about 30 Jungle Valleys are selling for 1 Divine. However, since we used 20 during this test, I've only accounted for 20 maps as part of our profits for Tier 16 maps. Speaking of maps, we also saw 3 Tier 17 maps drop, bringing in another Divine and a half worth of loot. And finally, we pulled 1 Voidborn Reliquary Key. In total, we saw close to 3,000 chaos worth of drops, or about 20 divines. So after subtracting our expenses of nearly 7 divines, we ended up with around 13 divines profit from this 20 map test. That equals out to roughly 100 chaos profit per map at current market prices. Each map took me 5 to 6 minutes to run, so for me personally this was around 6.5 divines profit an hour. Although if you could run these maps in 3 minutes, that would be 13 divines an hour instead. At the end of the day, your profit per hour is going to vary based on how strong your build is and how quickly you can complete these maps. And to an extent, how lucky you are with big ticket drops. For example, I spent a day or two farming the Nameless Seer so I could scry Defiled Cathedral onto Jungle Valley. Unsurprisingly, however, we didn't see an apothecary card during this test. If we had, our loot tab would have been over double what we pulled here. As things stand, however, I'm very happy with the profit per map. 100 chaos profit in a map is pretty good. However, the 6.5 divines per hour felt like it was kinda average in terms of Atlas strategies. So I will probably continue shopping around to see what other strategies I can come up with. Although I could see myself still settling on this one. If you enjoy Harbinger like I do, this is a solid strategy, but it is by no means absolutely broken, so don't feel like you need to do this if you're not a Harbinger enjoyer. Anyway, I hope this helped you decide if Harbinger is going to be worth running or not. Thank you for watching, good luck with your league, and I'll see you in the next one.